Well, here we go again. More things for Vshojo. I'll be honest with you. I've been keeping up with this stuff a bit here and there, off what is it, at work, or even reacting bits and pieces of it on live streams, on my own live streams as well here on YouTube. And honestly, it is just very crazy about some of the things that are happening. The amount of millions that are just disappeared. Supposedly, there have been some sort of uh, specific parties with white powder involved. I don't know how true that is. Supposedly, that happened or happens. I don't know if that's true or not. But I'm just interested of the down, like what everything that's going to be exposed. But anyway, we got a video here by what is it, by Legal Eagle. But let's see what goes on in this Fast Facts. God, look at that, man.
Vshojo has more
Oh, jeez.
news as to their mismanagement as we're in this era of them melting down, facing serious, and I mean dead serious legal issues, regulatory issues related to their pending bankruptcy, related to their
Yep.
labor claims and potential
Yep.
criminal activity as it
Yep.
relates to charity fraud. So we've
Yep.
got a lot of stuff going on here with Vshojo, but we have a letter from an actual employee at Vshojo. We're going to go today that was posted on LinkedIn. We've got the translated version, and this really exposes the
Wait, translated? Is that in English?
inside mispractices, mismanagement, and issues at Vshojo. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and this illegal mindset we teach you to be your own judge. This is a Fast
Yeah.
Facts premiere, a quick and dirty version of the latest news that gets out there to you as quickly as possible. I've been very busy personally lately, so haven't had time for the full length streams, but I've been trying to get these Fast Facts out to you to get the latest and greatest news to you as quickly as possible. So if you like that, you like these formats, please leave a comment and a like on this video. Let me know, hey, I like this, and here are my thoughts on the Vshojo issue below. All right, so let's hop into it without any further ado. Here we go. Here's your letter from Alex Kiyoshi. Now, this was originally posted in Japanese on LinkedIn. However, this is the translated version in English. I did several translations and looked at folks that were pretty skilled. I think this one is good enough. Obviously, understand that with anything that's translated anywhere into any language, there can be certain things that can be translated in multiple ways. So there's a possibility of kind of minor changes, but overall, the tune and the theme and candor of it speaks to the mismanagement at Vshojo. So let's just hop right into it. I'm going to read along and we'll stop as we're going to go. Taking this opportunity, over the past year, Vshojo has faced an extremely challenging situation involving mismanagement from upper management, which only came to light just before its closure. It's now been officially announced that Vshojo has ceased operations. I want to stop there because I'm not always going to agree with Alex here. So,
okay,
I think that what he's saying when he says that the mismanagement from upper management was only came to light just now, that is not entirely correct.
no.
I think there were people speaking out about this a year or 2 years ago.
Yes, technically, yes. There were things going on with management. I think some of it might be included with the talents from the last time I can remember. So yes, it has been going on for a long time.
Now, they couldn't say everything. They were under threat of lawsuits. They had NDAs, etc.
Yep.
Even their moms have NDAs.
Yep.
So I know.
Oh, okay. So he is talking about the livers.
While these things may be new news for certain people, and maybe to a certain extent, this individual didn't know the full scope until the last couple months. It's now very clear, and to certain people, particularly the upper management, amongst the upper management, they knew this was going on for a year, 2 years, 3 years. They knew they had major, major issues. So there's a lot of culpability at the top, not just with the gun run, but certainly including the gun run. They knew this was going on for a long time, and they decided to push forward despite major issues and the inability to really turn to a profitable business. They really had no business being in business because they had no path to profitability that was realistic.
This is true, which is kind of interesting because people did look at like the way how their business was, and it's like, dude, you know nothing. So there's some analysis of it from I think from Shy Lily, and I think and also one of my personal favorites, Giga. or I like to call her Giga Niga. I don't know why. I just think it's funny. I know some people they think it won't be, but I don't know. But yeah, even I think even she gave analysis and things like that. So it's like, yeah, it's pretty bad.
So, taking this opportunity. So he's saying it has now been announced that Vshojo has ceased operations. So that is true. Now, of course, they're
Yeah.
going to need an official bankruptcy. They're going to need official filings. They're going to have a new criminal investigation. So this Alex Kiyoshi fellow, he's not out of the woods. He can be investigated. There's criminal stuff that may come down, regulatory stuff,
Mm-hmm.
labor stuff. So he's not out of the woods despite this letter. So, anyways, taking this opportunity, I would like to finally speak publicly about my experiences at Vshojo and my prior role at Cover. So he's going to go into Cover Corporation, of course, a separate corporation.
All right.
This post addressed misunderstandings and rumors stemming from a leaked pitch document created by Vshojo's US team, which has been circulating online recently. This document, by the way, I'm giving some context here, was created in January of 2025. This document led to incorrect perceptions of my role and involvement. The entertainment
Right.
industry
Oh, yeah. I remember now.
thrives on trust. I regret not only that Vshojo has lost trust of its talents and staff, but also that my name has been misrepresented in a manner inconsistent with the facts. First, let me clarify my role at Cover. I served
Okay.
as advisor and business planner at Cover, as accurately reflected on my LinkedIn profile. This can be verified by Cover's executives, EN team members, or the talents themselves. However, for some reason, Vshojo's materials referred to me as Gen 1 director, which is factually incorrect. The information has also led
Okay.
to confusion with Omega, a figure who was publicly disliked by some talents at the time. In reality, my role was to address the root of that issue, and I was the one who led the effort to remove Omega. When I joined
Was that the person that was being really weird with his talents?
Cover, my primary mission was to identify and resolve issues within the overseas team. I collaborated with the CEO and CFO in strategic planning for IPO preparations, addressing challenges for EN Indonesia teams, and establishing an international business division for global expansion, because
Uh-huh.
that's what Cover's been trying to do. Even after the
This is
IPO,
true.
that's the initial public offering for those that
Which I'll be honest with you, I said this before. What is in the live stream? I think it was last night. I think it was very very stupid of them to essentially expand overseas, and especially when that's in the JP region. Um, which I thought was very very stupid. It's like all of your livers literally speak one language, and yet you want to promote and advertise in a country where basically 99% of the people there, well, I mean, I would say I would say technically a little bit less than that, but still the majority of that country speaks Japanese, which doesn't make any sort of sense. It's like, yes, it may be true. They know, I don't doubt they know some forms of English, but still, that is literally their second, hell, maybe even their third language technically. Like I've heard of some of these for some of these the classes and things like that. It's not even like a primary subject to be teaching for what is it for kids to learn both languages. It's either that there's an option to choose English, but most really don't do that. And even if they do, they even though they know English, it's so broken. It might as well be like someone that's off the boat type of broken English. It is what it is. So I thought it was very dumb of them to even advertise to do all these advertisements in a country that no only one liver speaks fluent Japanese.
don't know. I continue to support the overseas team
And I know for some people they would think, oh, what about the little dude? What's his name? Booby. I don't even count Booby because he's it. I don't. I don't.
as an advisor. So you can continue as an advisor for pretty much forever. And also, sometimes as an advisor, you can work for other companies. Mind you, that can be true. So,
This is
by the
true.
way, him saying he worked as an advisor wouldn't necessarily get him out of working for other people or taking on independent work necessarily in and of itself.
Uh huh.
Now, the Cover Corporation, aka Hololive contract, might, but not in and of itself legally.
Yeah.
Let's continue. During my 3 years at Cover while working at large scale projects, I faced a significant decision whether to relocate to the US for establishment of a new brand or choose a new path. At that time, I received an
Mm-hmm.
offer from Vshojo. to remain
Ooh.
in Japan because he liked Japan.
Oh,
Due to personal
this is the Japanese CEO, I think.
circumstances, I chose that option. He probably had a family, wife,
Ooh,
mother,
okay.
father, friends, something like that. I mean, that's a legitimate decision to stay behind in Japan.
I think I
Regrettably,
don't
that
know.
decision turned out to be a significant mistake. That said, working with Vshojo's Japan team was incredibly meaningful and proud
Oh no,
experience.
it isn't.
Despite being a small
Oh,
team, we operated with high efficiency, generated profits, and successfully
okay. I got to stop making assumptions. You know what? Let's just blast through this.
launched a VTuber group, Nova. Although the company no longer exists, I, along with all the other former Japanese staff, am fully committed to supporting Nova and the Japanese talents as they continue their activities. I want to make something very clear here. This is a big confusion. And to be
Nova.
honest, I am going to give a little pushback on him here. There is no distinction between the legal distinction between the JP branch
Uh huh.
and the EN branch. This is an internal distinction, which makes no difference legally, financially, etc. Vshojo wasn't making a profit. He wasn't making a profit. Just because the talents he micromanaged within the corporation were making a profit does not make the corporation at all profitable. And
Mm-hmm.
the liability overall falls on the corporation as a whole because they're not legally distinct. There is no legally separate Japanese branch. They cannot split that off legally, they cannot spin that off. That's practically impossible, legally impossible. So he was not profitable. Just because his
Which is ironic though, because as a company, you have to make money. Like, yes, it is true. The individuals, the livers, they're making money, but if that money is not keeping the company afloat, well, at the end, well, if there's ever some sort of mishap, well, let's just say that the company will be sinking, and yeah,
people he managed personally were does not mean the corporation overall was. So that distinction is an internal distinction, which makes no difference at all whatsoever. When the bankruptcy court comes in, they're not going to say, oh, yeah, well, the JP people were profitable and the end weren't. No, they don't care. They look at overall assets and liabilities. And as we know, Vshojo
right,
had a huge problem putting things in the right category. They were putting, fees for talents under cost of goods, which is insane. So let's
right.
continue here. Um, that's
I thought that shit was wild though. It's like, bro, how is it that you as a company don't stay afloat when you're basically taking more than half of their funds? How do you do that? I'm telling you, man. I'm just gonna say it. Hookers and blow. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. An incredible amount of mismanaged. Like, holy shit.
so let me go here. The events that affected Vshojo's talents, including Iron Mouse, came as a major shock to the Japanese team as well. We are completely unaware of the internal situation until recently. Well, now, obviously, I will say this in his defense. I do think he's not in charge of finances. So I don't think
Yeah.
this man was in charge of the financing or the accounting because that would be weird. He's more like a JP um, assistant manager, of the JP branch. So that wouldn't be in charge of the overall financials. So I will give him the benefit of the doubt there. Now, that there could come up something that would change my mind on that. We could get further
It could
discovery or
be.
evidence that
I mean, yes, I don't disagree. Like, if there's something come up, if there's something that comes up later, okay, fine. But maybe he was someone that just did like all the other managing stuff. But to be honest with you, given that he was some form of a manager, I mean, don't a lot of managers handle, or at least has some forms of handling like things, financials and things like that? I mean, I wouldn't put it past it, to be honest. I really wouldn't.
makes him culpable. But for now, I will give him the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Um, Going on, we were unaware of the situation. Financial management was entirely under control of the U.S. headquarters, which I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
And neither the Japan branch president, there was no real branch, remember this is an internal distinction, nor I were informed that payments to Japan-based talents were outstanding. This part, I don't believe. I believe the talents probably complained to him. This, I think, is the lie. I think the talents probably told him that they're not getting
Ooh.
paid. If he's in charge of the talents probably at some point told him they're not getting paid. Hey, we're not getting paid. They probably told somebody or somebody under him they're not getting paid. I think that's not true. I think that's not true. We are deeply frustrated such a decision was made despite the ability
Okay.
to pay those payments. I initially joined Vshojo to assist with fundraising efforts, but during investment negotiations, I grew suspicious when critical financial documents were not provided by upper management. That is a huge red flag.
Oh yeah, that's a massive red flag.
In hindsight, I now understand that this is intentionally concealed. From early on, there were numerous concerns about the company's management, and the Japan branch president and I were exploring the possibility of operational separation, but it was already too late. I feel profound disappointment regarding the series of events at Vshojo. At the same time, it will continue to provide as such support as possible to ensure that former talents can continue their activities with peace of mind. Thank you for reading this to the end. Please feel free to reach out with concerns and questions. Alex Kiyoshi. Well, Alex, my question to you is, are you willing to give up your salary and pay back some of those talents? Because if you feel responsible for the Japanese branch, if you're really somebody who feels personally responsible, what skin is in the game for you, Alex? Why don't you give them some of your money? Why don't you turn over some of that to the talents? Because obviously you're getting paid when they weren't. Everybody at that corporation should have taken a haircut.
I mean, I don't exactly disagree. However, I you know, I think the part that sucks about it is that the talents, they're all, obviously, right, they're all labeled as contractors, which, to be honest with you, I will highly believe when the lawsuit happens, they will lose the argument of saying that the livers are what is it, that they're working under contract, because the amount of control that they wanted of between the finances, the goods, and a bunch of other shit. Yeah, that's not a contract. That's not contract work anymore. That's an employer. Um, and on top of that, they did all this in California. Their company's based in California, which is even more worse. I mean, California's, which is kind of odd though, because even all the major corporations are basically in California, but the way how they have the laws are for some of these things are like very practically anti-corporate, which is very interesting. Which, again, I think it's a good thing, because there could be a lot of exploitative things, 100%. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Here, like, the thing about it is that this person was employed by Vshojo, or by the JP branch, or whatever it is. Um, I don't know. I mean, I think by that request, I think it's a little too much. It's like, yeah, it sucks, but it's like, dude, maybe it has something to do with some of these things that happened with this mismanagement, or it had nothing to do with it at all. But I don't know. I think it's a little much, by literally asking, how much are you willing to give money to the other livers? Because for me, I'd be like, fucking nothing. Like, I'm sorry, like, it sucks, but hey, man, unless there's information that comes out, right? Unless information comes out that's saying that he was part of a lot of this, a lot of this tomfoolery, I think he's asking a little much.
Including you. So I don't let Alex off the hook here. I don't give Alex a free pass. I think, yes, upper management is responsible as well, but
Yeah.
there are things they could have done. Certainly, if the talents were telling him, hey, we're not getting paid, and I'm sure at a certain point he knew they weren't getting paid, because I'm sure they were telling people that were close to them they weren't getting paid,
Yeah.
that's going to be something that's a big deal. You got to take a haircut on that. And by the way, some people don't.
The true question is that if they did know, how many of them actually said anything about it? And two, if they did, let's say that they did, right? Who got, what is it? Let's say that they did, which is kind of interesting, because they don't really say that they have told management, or they haven't told anybody else higher up. They say, hey, these livers aren't being paid. They haven't really said that, so it is a little bit interesting. And then um uh, I forgot. But honestly, that's the thing too, is that they never really said that they weren't, that none of the livers were being paid. So honestly, do I believe that they did know they weren't being paid? Yes, I really do think so.
Don't know the term haircut. Haircut means a reduction, right? So your salary is, $100,000 a year. You're going to say, hey, I'm going to give up $25,000 to pay the talents that are under me, and that's going to personally go to them instead of me taking that salary. If you're really responsible, you want to step up, it's put up or shut up. And that's my personal thing. And of course, I believe the gun run should have been taking a pay cut. I
Yep,
believe the upper COO should be taking a haircut as well, should be taking a reduction
they should, but they didn't.
production and paying that to the talents, that's true responsibility. And I've seen that happen at corporations. I've seen that happen at major corporations. It's not impossible. It's not difficult. And it's still possible now if you really wanted to make it right. Or even better, if you don't want to pay the talents, donate to the Immune Deficiency Fund. There you go. Or foundation, right? Iron Mouse's charity. Donate to them. Show some skin in the game that you feel responsible and culpable for this, and you know that something wrong went on, and it was wrong that you were being paid when these talents were going without a dollar in the bank account. And of course, these talents
Right.
are often young and often people that are exploited in the job market, and certainly were exploited by Vshojo. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will catch you
Yeah.
on the
What a cutoff. I mean, sure. I mean, if he really feels, if this dude really feels responsible about about some of the things of the downfall of the company, then I'd be like, with that there, it's like I don't really disagree with Andrew, but I mean, like it's given that this person said that, it's like, bro, I don't know. I won't even think I would have even said that, but it's out there anyway, so I don't know, man. Hopefully all this stuff gets resolved. I really do. I really hope all the livers, it looks like all the livers are fighting their footing and all that stuff, and you know what, I think overall this is a net positive for all of them are doing better than ever, even Silver's doing better, even Vebe, even Neanders, even the one that I didn't even know who the hell was even there, Kuro. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know Kuro was even there for like a long ass time. Apparently he was there for like practically the beginning. I'm like, dude, I didn't even know who the fuck you were until like 3 years later. But all right, um, et cetera, et cetera. Everyone overall is doing better. But I'll be honest with you, I can't wait to see the names and the associates that are related to the company and have all of them exposed. Some I speculate that some of the that a few one of the livers knew this shit's been going on, and I mean like, and I mean in terms of like all of this was gonna happen, because they know them personally to a very personal level. But I don't know, I'm not gonna say unless you watch my live streams. But anyway, I don't know, man. There's just a lot of ifs and whats and all that stuff, so either some of these things could be true or they could be completely bullshit. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't know what to believe anymore. I think I'm just gonna wait till official court documents or and all that stuff come out, instead of just seeing things are like in speculative and all that stuff. I just, you know what? At the end of the day, take everything with a grain of salt. Take everything that you see with a grain of salt, especially with things right now with Vshojo, because who even knows how a lot of this can be, especially with all these things being said by other people from the management of the company, because I don't doubt a lot of them are gonna try to cover their own backs, but we'll see. Anyway, you guys have a good one. All right, check out Legal Eagle. He's a great guy. He's I've seen his content for a long time, all the way back in the was the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. He was it's crazy to think about how far back that was. But anyway, check out his channel. And anyway, you guys have a good one, and thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, and check out what is it, Legal Mindset. And you guys have a good one. Peace.